We have a new warning, and I suspect it's for that tradition cell. I'm going to lose my voice here again. There it is. Yeah, it's a new tornado warning, it appears.
6 o'clock. Yeah, until 6 o'clock.
Until 6 o'clock. And this is for that cell that I've been also talking about. I didn't want to brush it off with that earlier tornado warning. But there, and James showed it about 15 or 20 minutes ago, that we call it a couplet. And the gate-to-gate shear, where the winds are racing toward the radar and racing away from the radar, and that's a rotation. That's a good indication that there's at least a funnel cloud aloft. Doesn't mean there's a tornado on the ground, but at least a funnel cloud. Now, this is all weather situation. This is in effect until 6 p.m. tonight. Let me click it on here. Yes, 6 o'clock for St. Lucie County tornado warning. And this is a wide area. This storm cell is crossing 95 now. And James, of course, is, I'll give you a second, James, bring up the velocities on that. But I suspect we're seeing the core of this. Most likely area for rotation would be crossing 95 around maybe Becker, Palm City, Becker, maybe into Midway. And just really, really heavy rain all the way back through Valencia and Tradition and back up toward the Turnpike as you get up around the Glades Cutoff Road and the old Tropicana plant and closer to Fort Pierce. But this right here, and we've been watching this for almost 45 minutes now, this little hook echo, if you will, that's crossing that 95 area. So this tornado warning includes a big chunk of real estate. This is all the way to the coastline. It'll pop up here. There it is there. So it's all the way back toward the coast. It includes the earlier tornado warned area, and it is all the way down in along the St. Lucie Inlet and then back toward the west, well west of 95 in St. Lucie County. And I'm kind of keeping an eye on James because he shows the velocity. I can see it. It looks like there might be a couple of areas. One around crossing the Turnpike just south of River Park, James.
Yeah, I think that's the latest warning, is this one just north of Port St. Lucie here. And that was the one that came out of Tradition that we were calling out earlier, that possibly some rotation with that has now moved on here to right around the Turnpike exit, like you said, Steve, around Becker or so. And that's going to continue to move up towards where the other one is. Now, the other one a little bit hard to see what's going on here because it's most likely washed out by now. But this is the cell right here, and it went over the Intracoastal there, the Indian River, and then also crossed over around Normandy or Walton Rocks area, Herman's, around that area of Hutchison Islands, Herman's Beach or so, and now pushing offshore. Might tighten up because now that it's lost any kind of friction from the land, it's over water. There is that possibility it tightens up as it moves off. So there's a marine warning for it. Obviously for the boaters, we'll get that if they are out on a boat. But this one here too, now trying to move up towards River Park. You see just behind it, not a lot, but a little bit of red starting to show up on the radar here. And this is the Melbourne radar, Steve, which when it's showing something a little bit like there, it's really a lot more than that too. Right about the crossover, this is the Turnpike. 95 swings way out there towards Tradition, and this is the Turnpike that kind of cuts straight down. So right around River Park area right there, and it's going to go up towards Indian River Estates, and then a similar location, maybe a tish north of where the last one was. Steve?
James, are you able to maybe go just nudge a little farther west, more Tradition and just south of Tradition? Because
let me go do that.
I suspect there's a little bit of rotation showing up there because it's clearly something is going on.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
That's the warning one, yeah.
There it is right there. Okay, so that's crossing 95. If you live anywhere in this area, you want to get in your safe room and stay there. That has even stronger returns than the earlier tornado that we just saw 20 minutes ago. So that would be just south of Tradition and moving across 95. And then
look at that gate-to-gate shear and the velocity, Steve.
Yeah, I would imagine with returns like that, we're seeing another tornado on the ground, at least a funnel cloud. So a very dangerous situation. And there are a lot of new residents in St. Lucie County and may not know what a safe room is. Your safe room is our windowless room, interior of your house, that you can go to and ride out the worst of the weather in the storm. So underneath staircases, closets, are good areas to be. Somewhere where you may have to spend an extended amount of time, not in this case because it's a tornado and not a hurricane, but somewhere where you can extend into an hour or two if necessary. And while the most damaging part of the storm is moving over your home. And in this case, that is right along 95, just a southern edge of Tradition. You can see it, I'm looking on the side of the screen, but it is right in front of me too. That's where the bright greens and the reds meet. It's what we call a couplet. And that's the most damaging part of this storm. It's headed toward the turnpike next, and tracking along roughly midway. It looks like it's north of Becker, and will continue to move into Port St. Lucie in the next half of that. I mean, that's more impressive, James, I would say, than the earlier ones that we saw.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I switched it over to the terminal radar of PBI. So to get maybe a closer look, this is sort of in between the two Doppler radars, but the Melbourne one showed it pretty drastically, and this one also shows it pretty drastically too. Like you said, right across, so 95 swings out towards Tradition, so maybe just south of Tradition or anywhere in the Tradition area, and Port St. Lucie too. Again, this is moving sort of diagonal here. So it might, the bulk of it come right through Port St. Lucie and then continue up to the north, back in the same-ish area, maybe slightly north of where the last one was, but it's going to move straight in that somewhat same area. So if you're in this area here, from Tradition, the Port St. Lucie, I know this covers a lot of people. It's a very densely populated area. Port St. Lucie is a pretty big city. It's going to move in that direction. You want to get towards the center part of your house, stay away from windows, don't go outside. Wait for this thing to pass. It should pass pretty quickly. The warning goes until 6 o'clock, so we still have a little bit of time here, but for any particular point on this map for wherever one person is going to be, it's going to move through rather quickly. You saw that video of it moving over the highway, and that only took the matter of just a few seconds for it to move over the highway and then keep going. But this is a pretty well-defined couplet here on the radar. We haven't gotten, to my knowledge, any video of this particular one yet, but we've gotten a lot from the last one, and the last one looked weaker than this one. This one looks a little bit stronger, don't you think,
Yeah,
Steve?
and I think the main key here too, James, is that it's been so persistent. I noticed that one about a half an hour ago, well west of Tradition, and here we are, 30 minutes later, and it's still there, which it shows a pretty significant persistence as it moves into the populated areas along the coastline.
Yeah, definitely showing it's a supercell that's maintaining itself even as it's moving off to the north and east.
Yeah, so crossing 95, almost into the turnpike now. Here's a look at the other radar and, kind of to recap, if you will, a tornado warned area. So it's across, there's a flashing polygon here, the red polygon, which includes PGA Village, all the way to Hutchinson Island, all the way down to the inlet, back through around Sailfish Point, and then crossing Jensen Beach. Let me give you a better view here of this. I don't want to zoom in. There's a better view. And then it actually includes parts of Martin County too, although I didn't see Martin County included in the actual warned area, but obviously this polygon does. And with the back edge of this storm, well to the west, right along the St. Lucie-Martin County line. But see where all this lightning is? That's where we see the most activity as far as rotation, persistent rotation, and that tornado warning is that polygon all the way up through PGA Village, Tradition, and moving quickly toward the northeast at about 20 miles an hour. In a weird situation here, it's following a line very, very close to that other confirmed tornado that we saw 20 minutes ago that moved through perhaps a couple of miles to the south, but not very far south. So here's another one that we're watching that is crossing the turnpike now. If I had to put a placement on this, it would be right through the right in this area here, right through the turnpike. It just crossed 95, working into there's US 1. So we're talking Port St. Lucie, the northern reaches of the North Fork of the St. Lucie, which would be right in this area, although the St. Lucie does cut up quite a few miles to the north as almost a stream at times as it works its way up toward Fort Pierce. But this is that most concerning part of this storm, making its way almost to the Indian River now. I mean, we already have some very heavy rainfall, but it is headed in the same general direction as the earlier tornado did around Nettles Island and Jensen Beach. And just to the south of the power plant on Hutchinson Island, crossing the turnpike now. This is a second potential tornado. I haven't seen any confirmed reports of a tornado on the ground, but that's certainly, we've seen the persistent rotation that has been showing up on the loops for the last 40 minutes. And this is, as I said with the earlier one, very dangerous weather situation. So crossing the turnpike, we're talking North River Shores, the Rio area. There's the Roosevelt Bridge. Tough to make out some landmarks with the radar bright reds and yellows like this. But the Roosevelt Bridge, and of course into Palm City. Looks like this will just miss Palm City by about 2 to 3 miles and then push its way to the north. I'll put the tracker on this, see if we get any place names. So we'll place the center right around here and work it to the coastline. So Jensen Beach around 611. That seems reasonable, maybe a little bit before that. And then in toward Ocean Breeze, 614, and then off the coastline. Now the tornado warning is only in effect until we're looking at about 6 o'clock, and it should be discontinued after that. I believe we have our news director on the line.
Road right there.
Kathy, can you hear me?
Yeah, Steve, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So you're just a couple miles from this new tornado warning. You're in the tornado warning in the Palm City area. What are you seeing now?
Yeah, Steve, it took a really dramatic turn. The first warning and this one. Literally, we thought that first warning was going out. Now I got in the car to head toward mile marker 108. I had to turn around immediately. The sky turned dark. It's almost like a green colored tint. It is pouring rain. The lightning got intense. I mean, you could see the large crackles falling to the ground, obviously. And I can tell you the thunder is it's like shaking thunder, right? So it seems like a pretty severe thunderstorm going through the area right now. But it has that, it feels too warm out, right? It doesn't feel right. Like something is definitely off. I'm just south of Becker, just on the north side of Palm City. You know where I am.
Yeah. So you are very, very close to the center of this. It sounds like you're recommending people just stay inside till all this mess works away.
I am. You know what? I think everybody should stay in at this point. I've got the dogs and cats locked in the bathroom, right? I just went outside to go check on things. But I think your recommendation to get to your safe room is the right call.
Did you see any? You were very close to the earlier tornado. I don't know how much you've been watching, but that's a confirmed tornado that came very close to where you are. Did you see any rotation in the atmosphere?
You know what? I did not see any rotation in the atmosphere. I had just come back from Jensen Beach and I wasn't near 95. I came from Jensen Beach over to Palm City, so I was not near the rotation itself. The video, obviously dramatic, right near here. And you might remember, was it last weekend? Not this past weekend, the one before where we started to see rotation, but it didn't drop. That was right near Becker.
Yep.
So it's that general area.
Yep. Well, be safe, Kathy. Thanks for the report from pretty much the center of this storm. You're going to feel the effects for probably another hour before it starts to improve. One last question. Have you seen any flooded roadways? Because the rainfall is torrential.
It is torrential. I got back just in time, but I can tell you my driveway is a river right now. So I can imagine roads are also a mess.
All right. Be safe. Thanks for checking in. We really appreciate it. On the ground report from 9 minutes. It may be extended because this storm, just looking at the velocity there that James is bringing up on the site. Can we bring James back in? Because he's got, it looks like it's crossing Turnpike. Is that the Turnpike?
Yeah, this is the Turnpike right here. And then this right here is Becker Road. Tesoro is this whole area right here. So this is Becker, this is north, this is Tesoro. What do we got? We got Harbor Ridge is over here too, which is sort of in that general vicinity of heading that direction.
Now, why did you bring up Tesoro? Because you saw that, or was there a report of bad weather in that area?
No, just because this is the landmark area and it's a pretty big development right here, there. And my cousin lives there too, so I wanted to warn her.
Yeah, absolutely. So anyone in the Tesoro area and east of that and, kind of northeast of that, just get in your safe room. This could be a second tornado down in St. Lucie County in the last half hour.
Maybe crossing right over the turnpike right now, it looks like, or at least the latest scan was that way. Sometimes these scans are a couple minutes to come on in, but yeah, this is quickly heading off towards the northeast.
So that is the same couplet that we were watching like 45 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, this was the one, remember when I dragged it all the way back and we saw them all in a row? This was the farthest one down here, and this one has definitely spun up into something, because this is a pretty well-defined couplet that we're looking at right here. And the other one was North River Shores, so that was here. So it was just to the north, so it's in this very similar location right there, too.
Getting reports from Martin County Fire Rescue.
The turnpike is over there, yeah.
Honey, just passing this to me. The 446 the Stewart Tower reporting a tornado touchdown 8 to 10 miles west of the airport, so just west of Witham Field, 446. And then at 451, getting a call from Woodbine Way in Palm City that a tornado touchdown causing a power line down, and obviously power outages in that area. So that was from the earlier tornado warning, James, and now we have this new tornado warning in effect until 6 o'clock tonight. Thank you, honey, for that. Let us know if you see anything else. So then this new warned area is a large area of South Florida, but the area that we're focused on is what James is pointing at around Tesoro, crossing the turnpike and racing east.
Woodbine Road, Mulberry Way, Bloomfield Road. If you live in that's around this area here, north of North River Shores. That's the area too. So we're coming from Tesoro, which is right in this area here, and all those streets in Tesoro. It's a big community and golf community. And then this moves up in this direction. So that's Woodbine and Bloomfield Road. Again, Mulberry, and then of course pretty much all of the Tesoro area.
Yeah, and so that's in effect until 6 o'clock, that tornado warned area. But this is the area right here, which really the turnpike and US 1 in Port St. Lucie is where we're most concerned, and it is moving toward the east-northeast at 20 miles an hour. So be very careful around, as a landmark, because we like to use landmarks because everyone is familiar in St. Lucie County where Tesoro is, right next to the turnpike, exactly where it is. That area is where we have the most concern about a tornado touchdown.
Right, north of Becker Road there, right at the turnpike exit, there is what we're looking at. And you can see it's still pretty well defined. We're looking for that next scan to come in. Pretty sure that's going to move it all the way over here, because each time there's a scan, this is moving pretty quickly, that we'll see it jump straight across there. But the last scan that we got here is pretty much crossing the turnpike at Becker Road right there. So somewhere in this whole area here, somewhere in there could be a tornado touchdown. I haven't seen any reports. The chat has been kind of quiet with that, right?
The chat's been very, very quiet, James.
But we've been getting a lot of emails, and we appreciate that. Remember, if you can't safely take a photo, then don't even try to get it. But if you can, you're at a distance, and you can safely take some video or whatever, we'd love to see it. You can email us at WPTV.com.
And we also, the reports from our weather spotters, too. Please keep sending those in. We had a couple of reports. I don't know if we still have Kate Hussey on the line, but if we do, we'd love to talk to her because she's in the Palm City, Port St. Lucie area. Just let me know. Kate, this is Steve Weagle. Where are you, Kate, and what's your weather situation at this point?
Yeah, Steve, I'm actually right by Becker Road in Port St. Lucie, the Tradition area. That area you really mentioned is a spot of concern. I can tell you the weather here is no joke. It's coming down in sheets. In fact, every time we've passed an underpass, there are cars off to the side taking shelter under this overpass, trying to get a break from this rain. The skies, too, are really powerful. I mean, they are extremely dark, extremely ominous, and you really can't see in front of you. We're driving on 95. We just passed that exit to take Becker Road, and folks are taking it really slow out here, and that's a good thing because, once again, even with our headlights on, even taking it slow, it is so hard to see even just a few feet in front of you.
Have you seen any flooded roadways? Because the rainfall has been unbelievable for about 3 hours now.
So far, we haven't, and that's something that's been a concern for us, too, is hydroplaning on these roads, and thankfully, we haven't seen that, but we have seen several accidents on the side of the road, several crews responding to cars seeming to be stranded out there. We don't know if they ran off the road, if they pulled off the road. We've seen a lot of sirens, heard a lot of sirens, seen a lot of flashing lights out here, so far that hasn't been an issue for us, but I know that some folks have run into some issues out here.
Thank you, Kate. Stay safe. As I told Kathy just a few minutes ago, it looks like the worst of the storm is starting to pull away from Tradition and the communities along 95 in St. Lucie County and move faster to the east toward Tesoro and into US 1 and eventually the Indian River Drive again and along the coastline. So thank you very much, Kate, for that. The area of most concern is just crossing the turnpike. So it is moving toward Jensen Beach, in toward the Savannas, in toward kind of probably just north of Jensen Beach Boulevard.
They extended the tornado warning to 6:30 now.
Yeah, that makes sense because this rotation continues. Thanks, James. That is the tornado warning has now been extended until 6:30 tonight. New polygon just popped up that's similar to the old one. There it is there. Yeah, 6:30. You'll notice the time change in the last frame.
Both counties,
So Martin and St. Lucie. It looks like it's almost what we call back building a little bit into Martin County again, because just 10 or 15 minutes ago, this was, it is. This was all St. Lucie County. There just was nothing going on in Martin County. But now look at Stewart and Palm City, the building back down to the south with these heavy downpours again. Now,
it may be slowed down. It says moving east at 15 now instead of northeast at 20. So.
Thanks for that, because it does look like it's lost that northward component that not only this one had a few minutes ago, but also the other one that we were watching, which was the confirmed tornado about half an hour ago. This one is moving east at 15, so it is heading across the turnpike and US 1 and working its way in toward A1A and across Indian River Drive in the next 20 to 25 minutes. Very, very dangerous weather situation that we're tracking. We still have the tornado warning.
There's also a flood advisory now till 9 o'clock.
Until 6:30 p.m. And we'll keep you up to date on the entire weather situation as it continues to develop.
Breaking news from WPTV News Channel 5.
We want to begin at this hour with breaking news, a confirmed tornado in Jensen Beach.
First Alert Chief Meteorologist Steve Weigel, James Whalen, they're on this right now, tracking Viper 5, both joining us right now, guys.
And as it crosses over through Jensen Beach and Port St. Lucie and then eventually off the coastline. That was our first tornado warned area. That was between 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. We now have that additional tornado warning that is now extended until 6:30 for this storm here. And it looks like it's very close to US 1. And I don't want to, and I've said it many times today, if you're anywhere in the path of this, especially Jensen Beach and along US 1, and there's a shear marker, a couple of shear markers popping up. Not a good sign. Shear markers detect rotational loft in the atmosphere. So this area here, which is pretty much over the North Fork of the St. Lucie, tough to make out, but the North Fork is right in this area here. There's Stewart, Roosevelt Bridge coming up on the Roosevelt Bridge. Shear markers indicate rotation aloft in the atmosphere. Not telling you if there's a tornado on the ground, but we have the tornado warning. If you're anywhere in Jensen Beach, anywhere just north, even 3 and 4 miles north of the Roosevelt Bridge, anywhere near US 1, get in your safe room, stay there until this storm passes. It's going to be another half an hour before that happens. But this is a storm that can do significant structural damage to buildings. And if you want to get in a safe room, you're not sure where the safe room is, lowest level of your house, interior room, windowless room, and bathrooms in the interior are good spots. Also, underneath staircases, if you live in a multi-level house, those are also good areas. Closets, of course, and sometimes laundry rooms if they're in the interior. Try not to pick a room that's on the exterior of your house, and you won't even not only need it for a situation like this, also during hurricane season, you should know where that is.
Traffic, we imagine only because We just came from that area of Tradition where it was still pouring down in sheets, and a lot of these folks, like I said, are taking it slow.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, on a good night this time of year, it is a slow go on 95 and the Turnpike. If you can stay inside, please do, in St. Lucie and Martin counties, because this storm it's what we call back building. You know, the storm itself, the first cell worked off the coastline about an hour ago, and it's just been continuing to build back toward the west and to the south at the same time. So it's nudging back into Stewart, back into Palm City, back into Palm City Farms, back to the west of 95 again, as the whole storm system works off the coastline. So it's just kind of feeding on itself, and it's going to be around for at least another hour, hopefully not longer than that. The tornado warning is in effect until 6:30 tonight. The shear markers continue to pop up on the radar. And of course, that's an indication that we have some rotation aloft in the atmosphere, that shear marker in particular. I would say the most dangerous part of this storm at this point would be Indian River Drive, Jensen Beach Boulevard, along through Jensen Beach, obviously, on Rio, and this one again headed toward Nettles Island on Hutchison Island. Here's a close look at that area. So Jensen Beach, and the shear marker just to the south of there, and there's US 1, there's Indian River Drive, and of course we have A1A. All right. Ethan Stein, I believe, is live in Stewart. Ethan, can you hear me? And if you can, tell me what's happening there weather-wise.
We're in the Stewart area, and we've seen the skies kind of get darker and whatnot. I'm going to switch from the camera over so you can see we've just started to get rain coming down for the first time. This is probably the first time we've seen rain. We started driving up from the West Palm Beach area. Those bolts of lightning that you kind of just saw there, we saw those kind of come into the distance, and as skies have gotten darker, the lightning has continued. But this is the first sign of rain that we've seen over here in the Stewart area at this point. So we haven't seen any flooding, no damage or anything yet. Traffic even for us wasn't even that bad going northbound up the coast yet. But I mean, we're not seeing a lot over here right now at this point yet.
You are driving north on US 1, Ethan?
Yeah, we're driving north on US 1 right now.
So like around Cove Road. It sounds like you're kind of getting into downtown Stewart.
You got it.
Yeah, we can see the flash, and there's a few more flashes of lightning. So this is an interesting perspective, because the worst part of this storm is about 10 miles north of you in Jensen Beach and moving toward the coastline. So on your track, you're going to miss the worst of it. You're going to stay just to the south, but be careful out there, because part of the storm is re-intensifying, if you will, around downtown Stewart. So it's going to be a slow go. What a mess. Thanks for the report. Really appreciate it. Be safe out there, Ethan. And the rain and as I said, the real dangerous part of this storm is working through Jensen Beach toward Nettles Island and then off the coastline at about 6:30. That's when the tornado warning ends for that area, around 6:30 tonight, and then it pushes off the coastline. You can see a slow go along US 1, moving into downtown Stewart with of course, our weather pilot on a very messy night in South Florida. All right, the radar showing
up, and here comes the rain.
Yeah, there it is.
Can you see that?
Oh,
I mean, it's really picking up. It's really picking up. It's raining super hard all of a sudden. Right? Wait 5 minutes. Here's the storm. Yeah, it feels like we're in the thick of it right now. You can already see the roads, or everyone's looking around. It's pouring. Wow.
All right.
And it was so quick too. I mean, we didn't see a lot, and there goes that lightning too. I mean, it really felt like it was drive even like about 30 seconds before you came to me, and now all of a sudden it looks like you could see the water all draining down the roads and whatnot. You could see even light flooding around me and whatnot. I can't barely hear the show or anything. All I can hear is the rain coming against the glass of the windows of the car at this point. I'll send it back to you guys in studio, but we're definitely in the thick of it now.
I think what's impressive too is that they are not moving at all, and that the real punch of this storm, and another few lightning flashes, is just to the north, just to the Roosevelt Bridge. I want to bring back in the radar if we can, because this is the very dangerous part of this storm is moving in through Rio and Jensen Beach, just to the north of the Roosevelt Bridge and headed toward the coastline in the next 10 to 15 minutes. The tornado warning in effect for about 17 more minutes, and then it's off the coastline. But as I said earlier, Nettles Island, Jensen Beach, Rio area, and you see the shear markers popping up here. That is the area most concerned with this storm cell. Even though the tornado warning extends across Martin and St. Lucie counties, this is where we're seeing the rotation and the potential for a tornado. Now, the earlier tornado was confirmed very, very quickly. I haven't seen, and I'll bring in James, I haven't seen any confirmed reports of a tornado with this one. Have you, James?
No, I haven't seen anything come up, and the Weather Service hasn't said anything on the chat about any confirmation or video coming in or anything. We're getting a lot of video from the previous one here, but this is the one right now, and it's still very well defined. So this is the previous one here, and I believe this is the...
that was Martin Highway and 95.
Highway, yeah. Yes. Over 95, yeah.
And that was about 5:15, 5:20,
yeah.
And moving toward the east, across the St. Lucie, and then eventually worked in toward Jensen Beach. We haven't had any confirmed reports of it holding together as it moved through Jensen and Hutchinson Island, but it looks, like a healthy, well-developed hurricane or a tornado at that point. And behind you is also impressive.
This looks more impressive than that one did on the radar. That looks impressive on the ground because we have video of it. This one, well, it's dark out now, but this one looks more impressive on the radar than that one did over there as it's coming towards the same area. Because remember, right when we first went on, we were talking about North River Shores, and that's exactly where this one is right now, somewhere in this area here where you see the bright reds and then the bright greens out ahead of that. That's an indication of some kind of rotation going on right in this area right here. So that's what Doppler radar sees. That's why we have the Doppler radar. We have our own Doppler radar too. And you can see into the storm. And when you see the winds like this, that's our first indication that there's a tornado out there or a tornado forming, because this is higher up in the atmosphere. So we could see it before it starts to drop down. But when it gets this well defined like this, that's when, and the Weather Service says, you know what, this is it. This is probably a tornado on the ground. They issue the warnings. We go on the air and tell you about it. You want to take cover in your safe rooms, away from windows. Don't forget to bring your pets in too, because they're probably going crazy out there, like Kathy was saying, or everybody's dogs are barking and that kind of thing. You want to take them with you in your safe room, try to calm them down and comfort them too. But you want to be away from any of the windows, away from the patio or balcony. If you're in any of the high rises here on Hutchinson Island, just stay maybe closer to the middle of the place, or a bathroom usually doesn't have a window in a high-rise condo, but it's getting close to that area too. It's getting close to Jensen Beach Causeway there, and then Hutchinson Island. Steve?
Yes, and if you're not sure what people at home are watching and looking for on the velocity data behind you, that's called a couplet, and where the bright reds and the bright greens meet, that's the most dangerous part of that storm, and that's where we could see a tornado. Tornado may be on the ground. That is a very dramatic couplet. We don't typically see that strong here in our area, but we have one that is headed toward, well, through Rio now.
Ocean breeze.
Yeah, ocean breeze, and headed toward, or just to the south perhaps, of the Nettles Island area. We're also getting some video in on the web from the Stewart area of the torrential rains and, of course, the flooding situation that's starting to develop. And not only do we have this tornado risk, we have a risk of course, flooding. This is the Palm City area. And we have the tornado warning in effect for Palm City, Stewart. It has been raining off and on in northern Martin County for the last few hours and will continue for at least the next hour as this pushes through. But Palm City, all the way to the north through Stewart, Jensen Beach, Port St. Lucie, even up toward Fort Pierce and White City. This continues, and the tornado warned area you can see is extending all the way back to the west. But the real risk for strong damaging winds would be in this area around US 1, Indian River Drive, and in toward Hutchinson Island. I'll get a little closer here and show you what's been going on with that. There it is right there, and that shear marker an indication that there is some rotation going on.
Also, you were mentioning flooding. The flood advisory goes until the flood advisory goes until 9 o'clock. So this has been ongoing here for a while, as you said, and numerous inches of rain falling, and we have that video of some flooding there too. So there's a flood advisory along with the tornado warning out there. So you got two things you got to worry about. A good thing is to just not go outside right now.
Yes.
Stay in the inside of your house. Bring your pets in too. You got to protect them also.
Isn't it so dramatic that this is such an active weather event on the Treasure Coast, but in Palm Beach County, there's hardly a drop of rainfall at all, and it should stay as a quiet evening in Palm Beach County.
Right. This isn't moving like south or anything. This is going to stay up here on the Treasure Coast. So.
All right.
Palm Beach County okay for the moment. And we did see earlier too that there were some rotation going on and some shear in the atmosphere, that the possibility would be there. But a lot of that too was the SPC had it a little bit farther north of here.
Yeah. All right. Keep us up to date on the velocities, because it is busy, and this core of this storm should make it off Hutchinson Island in the next 10 minutes. Would put it in line with when the tornado warning is expected to be dropped, which is 6:30 tonight. The shear markers continuing to be persistent. It's not only the velocities and this persistent rain, and look at all the lightning strikes over Jensen. And this is non-stop lightning strikes in this area of St. Lucie County, and the rain continues to build back to the south through Palm City and Stewart, trying to make it in toward Hobe Sound. They're actually doing a pretty good job. Oh yeah, now look at that. We even have some rainfall starting to nudge through the Palm Beach, western Palm Beach County. So we'll have to watch the back edge of this through Palm City and back down well west of 95, Palm City Farms area, where, see how it's back, we call this back building. There was nothing here just a few minutes ago, and now the bright reds are starting to show up. So this is all just going to nudge toward the coastline too. I believe we have Joel Lopez, who is very close to the center of this too. Where are you, Joel, and what are you experiencing as you drive down?
Hey there, Steve. Yeah, we're just on Canner Highway on Monterey Road. We're next to the Wawa, if you know the area. So we're headed towards Stewart. So we're heading a little bit northeast right now. Yeah, the rain's definitely picked up. Let me flip the camera around. So the rain's definitely started. On our way up on the highway, we were seeing a lot of lightning. So I think we're starting to get into it. So we're passing this pawn stop here. But as you can see, the rain is pretty heavy right now. There's still a lot of cars on the road. But I don't know, I can't tell with the car with the wind level, but you can definitely see visibility is very, very poor right now, but people seem to still be out on the roads. But we're headed out towards the Jensen Beach area. I know you said that might be more of a more impacted area. I'm looking at the radar, so it looks a little bit more red up ahead. So we'll keep you updated.
Yeah, thanks, Joel, and be careful. We just checked in with Ethan a few minutes ago, and he was about 3 or 4 miles north of where you are, and it was, wow, look at it pick up. You see that, Joel? Of course you see it. You're in the car. That is really impressive. Be safe driving out there. So where are you? You're not in US 1, are you? That looks like.
So right now we're on Canner Highway.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Be safe, and you are going to head into some very, very heavy rainfall in the next 5 to 10 minutes, and not only for St. Lucie County, but also for northern Martin County, we have these torrential downpours. So Joel, who we just checked in with, would be along Canner Highway. So he is, well, to the hang of this, is right in this area. So there's Canner right there. There's a turnpike. So he would be working his way in toward US 1, and then eventually likely crossing the Roosevelt Bridge and heading north after that. So not only on the Treasure Coast now, we also have rainfall across Palm Beach County and more working in. I don't expect the significant weather event in Palm Beach County, but we'll obviously keep an eye on that. We have some rain developing around Pahokee now, more storms back to the west, but you can see St. Lucie and Martin County are really getting the brunt of this with that tornado warning for another 8.5 minutes. That is this polygon here. You can see the shear markers that have been popping up. They're tracking where the rotation is And we've also been doing it with our Doppler radar, which is also simulated with the shear markers. But it was very near Jensen Beach Boulevard and Indian River Drive, and moving over the Indian River and then off the coastline. So I would place, around Waveland, perhaps just a little farther north than that, where the heaviest weather is, perhaps just around Jensen Beach Boulevard, and then working quickly. There's Nettles Island there, so working off the coast in the next 10 to 15 minutes, at least where the warned area is, where that rotation has been persistent. James?
It's kind of right where the couplet is, like right over Rio and Jensen Beach Causeway, right around, maybe in between Jensen Beach Causeway and Rio.
Yep, and maybe just south of Waveland. Not really sure.
Yeah.
So there's the couplet. We're going to walk over there.
Maybe right in between the two causeways, too, really.
The
one going to Stewart, the one going to Jensen.
Yep. So that's showing up crossing, and it's right into Indian River Drive now, and we'll cross the Indian River and then eventually off the coastline. It's not going to take long. It's moving about 20 to 25 miles an hour. So that is, when you're looking on the other side of the screen, that's where the bright reds and the bright greens meet. That's what we call a couplet. That's where there's rotation aloft in the atmosphere and the potential for a tornado to touch the ground. And you can see it's almost over water once again. And even if it is a tornado that is on the ground, it will become a water spout as it crosses over water, and then briefly a tornado again as it crosses A1A in Hutchinson Island.
Yeah, and right around, this might just go over Stewart Beach. It kind of went south a little bit, too, from before. We were projecting a little bit east, northeast, but now it's south of, say, well, maybe from Jensen Beach to Stewart Beach is where we're looking at. At least the couplet extends that far around, a few miles there.
Have you seen, I haven't seen any indications that they're going to extend this past that.
Not yet.
I don't see any reason why they would. I think they'll let it discontinue at 6:30, simply because the couplet that you're watching is why we have a tornado warning, and it's almost off the coast now.
Right, now the sun has set, maybe things stabilize a little bit since it's been raining for quite a while right here. It might get a little cooler and a little bit more stable in that area.
Yeah, so that tornado warning, as we've been telling you, is in effect now until 6:30, so another 6 minutes, and it is moving through Rio, Jensen Beach. I've said it dozens of times, and I'll say it again. If you're in this area, get in your safe room and stay there. These will the damaging winds will come up on you very, very quickly. You won't have time to go in if you're debating, well, is this going to have an impact on me? If you are in Jensen Beach and Rio and around Nettles Island and that area of Hutchinson Island, you want to be in your safe room for just at least 10 or 15 minutes and just ride out the storm. Other areas are getting significant rain and significant weather, but the damaging part of this storm is over Rio and Jensen Beach and moving east at 20 miles an hour.
Yeah, and really, it's dark outside, so you're really not going to see anything coming your way anyway. So it's really going to feel like it's coming up quick on you because, I mean, it's dark. Then if the power goes out, you don't see street lights or anything, and you have this thing moving very, very quickly.
Okay, we're going to back in with Kathy Reynolds, who is in Palm City, giving us reports in the last hour and a half. Kathy, we've been watching your area, and is it still intensifying?
Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to tell you that Steve and James, you guys were right. This thing double backed. You saw it in Palm City come back. It started raining harder. My neighbors were texting me, and they even said, they're like, we need to get to our safe room, right? And right now things are calmer, but I think you can see from the pool there's like a line of showers crossing through it. The wind's been blowing the trees left and right, but it is absolutely worse than it was a half hour ago. And the lightning, now I'm not seeing it so severe that it's touching, like it looks like it's touching the ground. Now it's all up in the sky, and it lights up the trees every once in a while because it's so bright and so fierce. And then you get these rumbles of thunder that are just shaking the house.
Kathy, if you can hear me, which direction is your camera pointed? Is that north? Kathy may not be able to hear me. It sounds like heavy rain.